राधे गोपाला हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत जय जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय गौरंग नित्यानंद 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 गौर हरि गौरंग नित्यानंद गौर हरि जय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि पतित पावन गौर हरि जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल श्री श्री गंधर्विका गिरधारी श्रीमन महाप्रभु की जय। श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। पतित पावन श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं नसोदय मुदीरहे नष्टप्रायेषु अविद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 1st chapter, 40th shloka. भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन सरद्गिरिवनादिभिः सीमा च भूत निवृत्ते द्वीपे द्वीपे विभागशः भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन सरद्गिरिवनादिभिः सीमा च भूतनिवृत्त्यै द्वीपे द्वीपे विभागशः भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन सरद्गिरिवनादिभिः सीमा च भूतनिवृत्त्यै द्वीपे द्वीपे विभागशः. Anybody would like to recite? भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन सरद्गिरिवनादिभिः सीमा च भूतनिवृत्त्यै द्वीपे द्वीपे विभागशः.
भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन
सरद्गिरिवनादिभिः सीमा च भूतनिवृत्त्यै द्वीपे द्वीपे विभागशः. Mataji's. भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन शरद्गिरिवनादिभिः सीमा च भूतनिवृत्त्यै द्वीपे द्वीपे विभागशः. भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन सरद्गिरिवनादिभिः सीमा च भूतनिवृत्त्यै द्वीपे द्वीपे विभागशः. Word by word translation. I request everybody to repeat. Bhusamsthanam, the situation of the earth. Kritam, done. Yena, by whom? Sarit, by rivers. Giri, by hills and mountains. Vanadibihi, by forest and so on. Sima, boundaries. Cha, also. Bhuta, of different nations. Nivrittei, to stop fighting. Dvipe, dvipe, on the various islands. Vibhagashaha, separately. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. To stop the quarreling among different people, Maharaj Priyavrata marked boundaries at rivers and at the edges of the mountains and forests, so that no one would trespass upon another's property. Purport. The example set by Maharaj Priyavrata in marking of different states is still followed. As indicated here, different classes of men are destined to live in different areas, and therefore the boundaries of the various tracts of land which are described here as island should be defined by different rivers, forests and hills. This is also mentioned in relation to Maharaj Prithu, who was born from a dead body of the father by the manipulation of great sages. Maharaj Prithu's father was very sinful. Therefore, a black man called Nishad was first born from his dead body. The Nishad race was given a place in the forest because by nature they are thieves and rogues. And animals are given place in various forests and hills. Men who are like animals are also destined to live there. One cannot be promoted to civilized life unless one comes to Krishna consciousness. For by nature one is destined to live in particular situation according to one's karma and association with the modes of material nature. If a man want to live in harmony and peace, they must take up to Krishna consciousness, for they cannot achieve the highest standard while absorbed in bodily concept of life. Maharaj Priyavrat divided the surface of the globe into different islands so that each class of men would live peacefully and not clash with each other. The modern idea of nationhood was gradually developed from the divisions made by Maharaj Priyavrat. Om Tat Sat. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवां च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदितानं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यदेवं। हरे कृष्ण कृष्णाय श्रीमती जय पदाक स्वामी आचार्य। Hare Krishna. So we are reading from 5th canto, 1st chapter. So 40th shloka this is. So I would like to welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class on this auspicious Ekadashi. I would also like to request all of you to please bless me so that I can speak something which is in line with our teachings of Srila Prabhupada and also in our teachings of our Acharyas. I also want to offer my respectful obeisances in the lotus feet of His Grace Vardha Krishna Prabhu, who is sitting in the class today. To be honest, I'm very nervous to speak anything in front of him. Whatever we have learned from him is only by the blessings and guidance of Prabhu and all the senior Vaishnavas also. I request everybody to bless me. So this chapter actually is first canto and 5th canto, first chapter is about, the chapter of heading is the activities of Maharaj Priyavrat. So this whole chapter is about the glories of King Priyavrat and what all he has done. We have been hearing for last couple of weeks glories of King Priyavrat. 2 weeks back, Ambiya Mother Prabhu in his class, he has told that how King Priyavrat was not very keen to take the kingdom. He was basically taught by Narad Muni to renounce, but he was so basically he was not keen to take up the kingdom. But then on the request of Swayambhu Manu, and then he was requested, King Priyavrat was requested to take up the kingdom, but then he was not ready. Then the senior devotees were, as we all have, anytime we have dispute means, then we have to call some senior devotee and try to resolve, right? So then Lord Brahma was called and he was asked to convince King Priyavrat. And as soon as King Lord Brahma came, and Narad and Swayambhu Manu, everybody is present in the assembly. And then as soon as Lord Brahma told Priyavrat to take up the responsibility of being the king of whole earth, immediately King Priyavrat accepted that. And Narad Muni, who was convincing actually King Priyavrat not to take up, he just kept quiet and because there is already somebody senior who is advising the king Priyavrat to take. So keeping the Vaishnava etiquette in precedence, it was being King Priyavrat accepted that. And last week we heard his guest Vardha Krishna Prabhu very nicely. He told that how important it is to surrender to Guru Parampara, and we should take up that process under the guidance of our senior devotees and the teachings of our acharyas. So today, if we see the king Priyavrat basically has divided, the various earth into various nations, and he makes the boundaries through the rivers and the mountains. So if you see in our Vedic scriptures, if you read, most of the time the kingdoms were from river to river. So if you read in Bhagavatam and various Puranas, then so and so king had the kingdom from this river, south of this river to east of this river, from west of this river to this. So generally the rivers and the mountains were used as the boundaries most of the time at the defining the kingdom. Because at that point of time there was not many facilities to have bridges and all that. So it was very easy for kings to protect their kingdoms through the rivers and mountains, right? And many historical wars, if we read in our recent history also, like Shivaji in Maratha Empire and all that, you will see the kings who had the forts on the mountains or across the rivers, they had the advantage of winning the war. So this concept was basically created by King Priyavrat. So in the Vedic culture, the king was not made by in like today's this thing. Prabhu, are you translating in Hindi? So I think these few devotees are also Hindi. You can include them also. आप उनको भी बुला लीजिए, भी हिंदी वाले डिवोटीज हैं पीछे जो बैठे. आप लोग आगे आ जाइए, आप लोग भी सुन सकते हैं उनका जो हिंदी में बोल रहे हैं. So the kings were not made by today's, as we hear in today's word, that prime minister or president is made by vote. It is done, some crooks and thieves will come together and they will decide who will be the chief, and that person becomes the ruler of that particular country and all that. And we are seeing in our neighborhood, I don't know how many of you followed in Sri Lanka, whatever that was happening, that there is a ruler whose people are unhappy. Then again the parliament has again selected the same person whom everybody is dissatisfied. So people's their wish or their desire doesn't matter at all. It's ultimately those people who are coming together and deciding. But in the Vedic culture, it was not like that. King was based on the qualification. And king was there for lives. For whole life he will be king, unless he himself feel that he is no more fit to rule. And then he himself will have the liberty to decide who is going to be his further king of this thing. It's not just, all the other ministers and all that, they want this person to be king, they will be king. In Vedic scriptures, you will not find any references where the kings were assassinated, or kings were killed, or kings were voted out like that. You will not find any such instances, because it was based on the qualification. Even if the king has to be elected, it will be elected by the Brahmana class. As we are reading in the purport, Prabhupada told about King Prithu. His father was a sinful man. Then all the sages came together and they basically didn't allow whatever, they killed him and all that. So they didn't allow that person because that person is not qualified. So the person who is, Prabhupada never recommended this democracy form of, this ruling, which is there in today's world, because that is, that's not ideal. That's not good, because all the people in general are ignorant. They are not qualified to take the intelligent decisions. So there should be an intelligent class who should be deciding the important decisions, like who is supposed to be the king. So, so there was I had some memory about one incident about Udupi Krishna. So in Udupi Krishna, there was once, I don't know, it was Pejavar Swami or some of the, all those Matadish, wanted to offer one big crown which is made up of diamonds to the Lord. And there was a big hue and cry because we are a democratic country. And then if anything you offer to the Lord, that to such a costly thing, then there would be big hue and cry. So there was a big commotion about it. And so then that Swamiji, he gave very nice answer to that. He said that in our country, how much money is spent on the Prime Minister's security? You know, when a Prime Minister, suppose recently our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he came to Bangalore, the roads were tarred, there were so many things were done. Forget about if any US president or something is coming, then all. They will put the white cover, I don't know, on the, what is that, slums. They will nicely, they will cover them so that nobody, whatever, Bill Clinton or whoever is that person should not see what is there in India, reality of India. And so much crores and crores are spent on the security. And wherever, I don't know how many of you know, wherever they pass, there are so many security guards on the top of apartment buildings and all that. They will see nobody is going to attack on this thing and king. So much money is spent on the security of Prime Minister or President of one small land of India or any country in that sense, which is part of a big, Earth. Earth is a part of a universe, and like that there are millions and millions of universes, and the creator and the owner or the master of those creation is being offered one small crown, and on that there is so much hue and cry. That's so much unfortunate situation in today's world is that the unqualified people are offered like anything, but the qualified, like a person who is the who on whose aham sarvasya prabho matta sarva pravartate. Krishna says that I am the creator of all material and spiritual world. To offer something also to him, you need so much of, it creates so much of attention. So that is the unfortunate. That's about the kings and the rulers of today's world. So coming back to Priyavrat Maharaj. So finally, Priyavat Maharaj, this is, I'm just telling the summary of this chapter. Then Priyavat Maharaj, on the request of Lord Brahma, he accepted being king of this whole earth, Bhumandala, and then he basically he did many different things. He created different nations and many things just to ensure that this ruling of this earth and people can live harmonically together, instead of not fighting. And one good thing about Priyavrat Maharaj was that he did all this as a mark of duty. He didn't do that, oh, I am the owner of this, now I have become the land, the master of this land, now I can do anything, whatever I like, nobody is there to this thing. He gave proper respect to Brahmanas, he took the proper instructions from the qualified people, and then he ruled. And each and every task which he did was having the sanction of Lord Brahma, Narad Muni, Swayambhu Manu, all his seniors. He had taken this thing, and then he was he was making all those things. So the thing is that he was having the mood of service. He was serving, the people in general, and that's what it should be, the mood of a king. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we read 5th canto. There is Prahlad Maharaj says, "Janasya moho ayam aham mameti." So basically, he says that the root cause of all this problems is aham mameti, me and mine. Whatever we are able to relate to this body, that becomes mine, and that becomes the cause of our entanglement, that becomes the cause of our attachment. More and more we are attached, because of whatever we see related to our body, then that things we take the ownership. Because in general also, if we are given something, suppose somebody is coming and giving me this book, and I am taking this book, as soon as that, okay, this is my book, even the person who has given me, if he is wanted, okay, can I read for 5 minutes? It will pinch me. Oh no, this is my book. Now this is my book. Now, how come that person is even the person who has given to us the same thing, right? So it happens in this, unfortunately, this material world is like that, and that is the biggest trap of Maya. So Maya does this trap to all of us by making us feel that this belongs to me. But the time is the biggest controller in this material world. We all, whatever we were thinking, this is mine, in the whatever, in our prime of our life, in the form of death, that thing is taken away from us. Just Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am time. So in the form of time, Krishna takes away everything from us. Whatever we are very, very much proud of, that okay, this thing belonged to me, with the time that thing is taken away. But Priyavrat was, before taking the responsibilities itself, he was very scared, because he thought that he will fall into the trap of Maya, and he will become attached to all these things. What will be he know that he will, as a king, he will have the facilities, he will have the palaces, he will have the queens, and because of that he will be busy in enjoying that, and he will not be able to, maybe he may get into trap of that. And in reality, actually, this chapter says that only happened. King Priyavrat married, I think, what was her name, Brahishmati or something like that, and another queen. He had 10 children. Out of that, 7, I think 3 took sannyas or something like that, and 7 became the rulers of the different portion, which King Priyavrat decided. From his second wife also, he had 3 sons and 1 daughter, I believe, and then he gave them also to, some place to rule. So, but after thousands of years of enjoying this whole kingdom and his wives and children, he started realizing that he has done the same mistake which he wanted to avoid, and he became a very I should not say morose, but with the guilt feeling he had that he has done a wrong thing by doing what he was not supposed to do. And but he accepted that with the humility and guilty, that okay, I have done a wrong thing. He didn't say that okay, anyway, this is my Lord Brahma told, was told by my father, so anyway it is not my fault, they told me to do, now it's your problem, I am enjoying, what is your this thing, they asked me to do and I did it. So that's the excuse we always give, right? Even in bhakti, many times this situation comes that we know that we are getting somewhere misdirected, or somewhere we are getting attached with whatever is being this thing. But then we will blame Maya for that. First of the biggest excuse all of us has is Maya. Anyway, I cannot. Krishna also says, Mam Maya Dratya. So it is very difficult to overcome Maya. So anyway, who am I? I am the most fallen person. I cannot overcome Maya. So it is not possible for me to overcome Maya. That's the biggest thing. Otherwise, we'll blame all the situation around us. See, I have the family, I have to take care of kids, I have the parents, I have this thing, I have job, I have to survive, I have to, different reasons we'll give to think that, okay, no, it was not my fault that I became attached and I am engrossed, I am entangled, it's not my fault, it's the fault of all the situation, everything around me except me. I'm trying sincerely. But if we do a little bit of introspection, then we'll see that yes, somewhere we went wrong. Because what happens is, when we are in not a devotee, then Maya arrows are very gross. Maya is giving us good money, big house, car and all that. So we'll be okay. Once we come in bhakti, we know these are the things, because of that I am attached. So I will now, it's okay. Then I will come in bhakti, I understand that these all are the cause of my bondage, and I will fall into this trap, and then what I will start doing bhakti. But now Maya's arrows will become very subtle. Maya will give us that which Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, puja la pratishtha. She will give us, everybody will come and offer us obeisances. You are such a wonderful kirtanaiya, you are such a wonderful singer, you are such a wonderful cook, you are such a wonderful speaker, you speak so well, so many followers, people will come and pay obeisance. Then that's all. Then you will start thinking, I am the greatest devotee in this temple. There is nobody else who knows anything beyond me. Because see, everybody is coming and paying. They cannot be wrong. I don't want any adoration from anybody, but they are coming and giving. That means I am qualified. So this is also another way of Maya for us to get trapped. So in this material world, the senses, through the sense objects, that we want to enjoy. But Krishna is warning us that when we are through the senses, if we want to, whatever enjoyment is coming through the senses, it is the cause of our bondage. It is cause of our dukkha. It will cause us only sorrow. It may look happiness in the starting. It may look that, I am enjoying this, see, I have good money, I have good house, I have this thing. It may look very, very beautiful in the starting. It's like Prahlad Maharaj uses the word Andakupam, right? Anybody knows the meaning of Andakupam? What is Andakupam? Dark well. Okay, and how somebody can fall into this dark well? Through sense enjoyment. Okay, I'm saying in the material, suppose there is a well, and everybody knows how the elephant is being trapped, right? How the elephant get trapped? There will be she elephant. She elephant will be just made to touch a male elephant, okay? And then that's all. She will be trained and she will be taken further. Now the elephant is just mad behind that female elephant, and it will go run. And in between there will be a big, dug up thing. And then over that it will be covered with what? Nice grass. So it will not be visible from outside that it's this thing. And that's all. The elephant will fall. Now such a strong elephant is just after that, how he is being with the just whatever that Mahavat uses, one small instrument, no, to tuck, and that's all. Elephant will be, after that he will do whatever you want him to do. So same way, this in this Maya, nicely she will put some nice grass and all that over that dark well, Andakupam. She will cover it with nice grass and everything. And she will come and say, come my baby, sit on this. And that's all. That person will come and he will just want to enjoy. That's all. You enjoy, you fall into the dark well. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says, that this material word is Andakupam. So in this, and if Andakupam means it's like a dark well. You don't know how to come out. So this material word, the family life has been compared to Andakupam. Here most of us are family people, but still we should understand that, it's a Andakupam, and we should know how to come out of it. Of course, there is somebody who can throw the rope and he can pull us. So through Guru and Vaishnava's mercy, we all can come out. But still, it is mentioned in the scripture, so it is our duty to understand that this is like an Andakupam, and we are in the dark well. It's very difficult to overcome. So dark well is always covered with the nice. Most of the time when we are very cautious, I remember in my initial days of when I was learning the driving, that person who taught me, he told me that you are not going to make accidents when you are learning. You will make accidents when you are very confident that now I can drive. So nothing will happen. So same thing happens to when we come in Krishna consciousness, then maybe we will think, okay, now it's all, I know what is this, our sense object, senses, enjoyment, I'm not supposed to. But after some time, anyway, I've controlled my senses. There is no problem. I can overcome anything. So that's the, so Maya will always cover Andakupam with nice sitting grass and all that. And then we will not even know that, there is a Andakupam. It's a dark well. So we need to be very, very, careful about it, like Priyavrat. So Priyavrat, after a certain time, of course, he did his duties. He did very nice jobs also. Very nice tasks he did, which is explained in whole this chapter. But at the end, he realized that he has done a mistake. Now he is doing a mistake, because under the instructions of his seniors, he did all the tasks which he was supposed to do. But after that, he is supposed to come out of that. So then it is at right point of time, we all should think upon it, that when is the right time for us to come out of that. When it is becoming entanglement, and when is it is a service. So we should be able to differentiate between that. So that's what is very nice things we can understand from King Priyavrat. So now King Priyavrat, we all know that Krishna says that Tesham satata yuktanam bhajtam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mamopyantite. I will give the intelligence with which you can come back to me. So in this case also, King Priyavrat, in the form of Paramatma, Krishna is giving him that intelligence that you are finally getting again trapped. And for that, he is thankful to, he thinks that, okay, now it is time for me to, come out. I should not get trapped into this this thing. So Krishna also says, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto. So he says that I am sitting in everybody's heart. I am, whatever, the forgetfulness, remembrance, all of that I am giving. So Krishna is there at any point of time, every moment in our life. Krishna will be there for us to guide. But only thing is, we should be, if our eyes are, or if our senses are covered with the, this tendency to enjoy in a gross or a subtle way, then it would be very, very difficult for us to understand that, we have to, come out. We may still think that, no, it is a nice service I am doing. So many times as a devotee, what we cover everything is, we sweet coat our material desires by saying I am doing service. So let me earn little more because I want to donate more to temple, and I want to do, I want to build a nice apartment where all devotees will come and stay. These are some of the ways, we will assume that we are doing service and it is a devotional service, but actually it would be, again, in a subtle way, it would be a Maya's trap. So the nice way to come out of that is to constantly acquire knowledge and constant being in the association of devotees, and always remain under the shelter of the senior devotees and your spiritual master. Because if anywhere we are just here, there, there is some tilt in our movement on our bhakti, there is somebody to come and tell us that, no boss, you are going wrong here. So better be aware. So always we should always remain under the guidance of a senior devotees, and always under the guidance of our spiritual master, or under the representative of spiritual master. So here the King Priyavrat identifies that nothing all belongs to him. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So I am the Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. I am the owner of the all planets, or whatever, the whole creation. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So Srila Prabhupada has, in his many places in his purports, he has very clearly made us understand that we should not have the tendency of proprietorship, because as and when the time comes, everything gets taken away in the form of death, or in the form of any situation which will happen in our life. Many times we see that many parents have this reason to work very hard, is that we want to accumulate for our children, right? We all want to leave a nice wealth for our children, so that they don't have any difficulty in their life. But many times what happens is that either in front of parents or after their death, these brothers and sisters, they will become the worst enemies. They just want to get that wealth. There was one story, I'm not sure if it is a real life story, I heard in one of the lecture, was that there was a person, he wrote that once I die, don't cremate me, just put it in a deep freezer, because I'm going to come alive. Or somehow he has some notion, or he was told by some fraud, some sadhu or something, that you will come back to life. So then what they did is, after dying, they didn't inform the government authority that he has died. They put him in nice deep freezer, and they were waiting. So 1 month, 2 months they waited. After that, these all sons and daughters, they started becoming impatient. The person in deep freeze means that all his wealth also in deep freeze. Right, because he is going to, unless and until he signs or this thing, no check can come out of the bank. His property is in his name, so nothing can be done. Then after some time, these sons and daughters, they started fighting. Okay, no. How long we can keep this person in like this? So we have to declare him dead. But the other son, who was little sincere, no. Our father has told that he should not be, he should remain. He will come back to life. But after some time, then what happens is that one of the son, he gave some bribe, some servant or something, and took out that switch to the deep freezer, and after some time that body started deteriorating. Then everybody came to know that person has died. Then that person was, the sincere one, took the other son to the court, saying that, okay, this my father wanted this, but this person has killed my father. And like that, for many years, that nobody got that property. So that, if that father knew that this is going to be the state of his property, I think he wouldn't have worked so hard, right? We all work day and night and thinking, in scriptural language, is foaming like a donkey. Like we keep on doing the whole life for what we want to accumulate good amount of wealth for our children. so that after us they should not have any difficulty. But we never know, what our children are going to enjoy, and are they is going to become a cause of misery for them. In many rich families, we have seen that sons and daughters, they get so much spoiled that they basically spoil all the wealth. So for what we have wasted our whole life? We have wasted our whole life in accumulating that wealth, and ultimately that wealth is going to the drains. If we had utilized our life in a proper way, then it could have been a better utilization of our human life. This human life, we get it very difficult. I think we keep on talking in our, this human life is very, very difficult to, get. What is that song? Hari Hari, Vifale Janam Goino. Manushya Janam Paila, Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya, Janya Suniya, Vishakhainu. So this human life we have got with so much difficulty, but what we are not utilizing in what? Chanting the name of Radha and Krishna. And we are wasting this. It is something like eating a poison knowingly. It's not that unknowingly, because we all are given human form of life. We see that how better how better we are placed as compared to other species, right? We have been given intelligence to to understand God. That intelligence is not given to other living entities. We are very fortunate to have that understanding that we can understand God, but that is not happening. We are utilizing this life in the all material enjoyment. So with time, Srila Prabhupada once, he was walking in Jagannath Puri, and he told his disciples, see, there was a time when I used to enjoy float in this water on the sea beach of Jagannath Puri, but now I'm walking with 3 legs. So he meant to say the time is, has passed away. So now in this time it's not possible for me, for Prabhupada, like person like Prabhupada is saying. Then what about all of us? Slowly the time is coming, we are getting sick, we are getting old, we are becoming old, and slowly the things are going this thing. But we are not utilizing this life in a better way. If you see, Prabhupada say in his lectures, because this is relevant to King Priyavrat, because he has divided the land into various nations. So Prabhupada, in one of the lecture, he says to his American disciples that you all are thinking yourself to be American, and this land of America belongs to you. You all think like that. But just 500 years back, this does not belong to there was not even a single white person on this land of America. He told like that. So there were Indians, means red Indians basically, who are the native of those tribes of that land. They were actually they were having this land. But these Europeans from Spain, Britain, and France and all that, they all went to North America, and they they acquired that land. And they moved all those people into some small Caribbean islands where they now which is called West Indies, right? So most of the people slowly, and now you will not find any original, very native Indians of that land. You will not get. Same thing he was telling about India. Some time back the Mughals were there, the ruler. Before that, they were Mauryans were ruler. So everybody was thinking this land belonged to me. But with the time, what has happened? Everything has gone. So we should understand that anything which is related to this body we should not assume that this is mine and it is going to stay with me forever. There would be somebody else after some time that person will be the owner of this thing. So another important point which Prabhupada has made in the purport is about quarrel. He said that he divided this thing so that the people of different kinds and different natures do not fight with each other. So the thing is, even if we see the Varnashrama system has been created like that. Chatru Varnam Maya system Guna Karma Vibhagasha. According to Guna and Karma, the 4 Varnas had been created. And those 4 Varnas, according to the Guna and Karma, unfortunately, it has become the caste system in today's world. But actually, Krishna says, it has been created as, Guna and Karma. Whatever our qualities we have and whatever activities we are doing, according to that, we are considered as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So we are based on the, different qualities and all that we are categorized. But and that's what the King Priyavrata did. And there is example given of Nishad. He was taken by King Prithu's father's body because he was the person who was like belonged to thieves and rogues like that, and he was ordered to stay in the forest. So if you see the according to, so this, why this varnashram system was created, to create harmony in this society. But situation today is that it is the cause of main disharmony in this society, the caste system. But actually it was created for the harmony in the, how? Because for the higher cause of liberation, you according to your qualities, you come together and you stay. Because if you have different qualities, then what will happen is you will be always fighting, because you don't belong to, you don't have the same. We see in our material world, in our office also, our boss will be of different quality, I'll be different kind, my team will be of different personality, and then what we are trying to do, we all are trying to do one single job, and it never works, because one person thinks it can be done in a this way, other person thinks it can be done in a better in other way, but it doesn't, the work doesn't get done, because everybody thinks that whatever they are telling is the best way, because they all have different, they all are under the different modes of material nature. Somebody is sattvic, somebody is rasik, somebody is tamasic. And Rasik, Tamasic and Sattvic, they all cannot work together. So all Sattvic people should be together. All Rasik people should be together. Then they will be able to do this thing. And in every society, there are these different qualities of people are there. So you cannot say, even in the spiritual organization, Prabhupada say, even our organization also lead with the people with the tinge of different qualities. We all have different qualities. So based on that, we should take up the. So everybody cannot do preaching. Everybody cannot do management in the in Iskcon temples. Everybody cannot do the this thing. Everybody with different persons will have different likings. So based on the qualities and on the activities what we are doing, this Varnashrama system has been created. But Srimad Bhagavatam says very important thing, that sam siddhir haritoshnam. So all these varnas or these divisions of society, if the goal is to please Supreme Lord Sri Hari, then only they will be able to stay together. Otherwise it's very difficult to stay together. And unfortunately we are in Kali Yuga, so the symptoms, whatever the main symptoms of this Kali Yuga is hypocrisy and quarrel, right? So these are the two main important symptoms of Kali Yuga. So unfortunately, whatever we try, it is not possible, that because we all are under the effect of Kali. So when Kali Yuga, Kali wanted, King Parikshit Maharaj wanted to kill Kali Purusha. At that point of time, he told, when he came and took the surrender to King Parikshit, at that point of time, King Parikshit told, you can stay in these places where the meat eating is there, this thing is there. So Parikshit Maharaj told that Kali Purusha tells that there is no, in your kingdom, it will not be possible to have these kind of places. Give me at least one more place. So he told, where the unnecessary accumulation of wealth is there, you go and stay there. So that was very easy in Kali Yuga, because in Kali Yuga everybody wants to accumulate wealth, and that's why the effect of Kali Yuga is more in our on all of us in this age of Kali. So, but being in Krishna, Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, the only way to develop peace in this society is by following the Krishna consciousness. When the goal of all of us is to satisfy Guru and Krishna, because we seen King Priyavrata case also, he did for the pleasure of his Guru, he did for the pleasure of his seniors, he did for the pleasure of Krishna. He didn't want to take up the kingdom, but still he took, because he wanted to please, and he did the duty with that thing. And that's why when there was a movement, when he felt that he is falling down, immediately Krishna came and Name Bhaktya Pranashyati, Krishna says, right? So immediately in the form of intelligence, Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam, I'll give you intelligence with which you can come to me. With that intelligence, King Priyavrata is able to understand. So only way to overcome this hypocrisy in quarrel, which is mentioned, if you see in material world, to overcome this quarrel and hypocrisy is very, very difficult. You have to identify various means, like King Priyavrata, just to avoid the wars he is dividing. among the nations so that they don't fight with each other. Because he knows they are different different kind of people, they cannot stay together. So he has divided them among the nation. So now, when we come to Krishna consciousness, then we face the same situation, because none of us is very elevated at this stage, right? We all are struggling, we all are on the path of devotional service, we all are trying to overcome these anarthas, but those anarthas are still there within us. And when we come to Krishna consciousness, then we see, okay, devotees are also like that only. They are also among them, they are fighting. Among them, they have this kind of this thing. But Prabhupada say, if you love me, then you should work cooperatively. So Prabhupada, like King Priyavrat, who did it for the pleasure of his guru and pleasure of Krishna, we should also try to tolerate all these difficulties and discomforts when we come in terms of when we are doing services. Many times when we are doing services, the other devotees with which I have been told to do service, his personality is different, my personality is different. I want to do in certain way, he wants to do in certain way. Then now after some time we feel, oh, what is the use of coming in Krishna consciousness? Here also same thing only, outside also same thing. So what is the use? But we have to understand that, what Prabhupada is laying down the principle. He is saying, if you love me, you should work cooperatively. So if you see his disciples, if you read Prabhupada Leelamrita, you will understand that, there were different disciples with different personalities, right? They all wanted to do, there were so many instances where there were differences among all of them, right? But then what they did is, they worked cooperatively for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. They knew that, okay, if they are able to, yasya prasadat bhagvat prasado, yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. So if we are able to somehow please the spiritual master, and we are able to, please our guru, then we can basically please Krishna. And if we are not able to please our spiritual master, if we are busy in fighting, busy in arguments, and then what will happen is, it will give discomfort to our spiritual master. It will give discomfort to, Prabhupada. I just told this that, when a father is, the biggest pain for the parents is what? To see their children fighting. So our spiritual father, our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada, if they see us, fighting, even for the small thing of doing some, a small preaching, or running a small temple, or running this thing, we all are busy in fighting, then it is not going to please Srila Prabhupada. And we have to understand that we are doing this for higher cause. Prabhupada say in one of the places is that, if you are fighting among yourself, then you will attract the people who like fighting. If you like criticizing each other, then you will like the people who will, you will invite the people who like criticizing. If you like hypocrisy, the Iskcon will, basically he means to say the institution will become full of those people only, right? So if new person is coming and he is seeing that, oh, in Iskcon, okay, they do, bitching around behind the back, they criticize each other, they are not able to, work together, then what happens is, so those kind of people who are genuinely, who are looking for, some place where they can, acquire the, higher knowledge and all that, they will go away. I have one example in my preaching itself that, when we were preaching, there was one devotee, he was very sincerely, he was coming. And once what happened during the prasadam serving, some devotee spoke to him very rudely. And he told, what, this, you cannot follow this also, like that, something he spoke. And that person took it to his heart. And after that, he never came to temple. So sometimes, while doing services and all that, we are under very much pressure. And I'm sure that devotee won't have told this to out of any real, grudge against that particular person. But he was under pressure to perform the service, and that point of time he spoke something which was not expected to be spoken by a devotee. And what happened? One sincere soul we lost because of that. And just imagine, there are so many people who are coming to our temples. So there are so many people who are coming. They are really looking for solace in the place, because outside everybody is suffering. In today's world, there is no place that where we get peace, where we get solace. This is the only place which is giving real, genuine, peace, genuine happiness. because this is based on the authentic knowledge which is coming down from the Supreme Lord himself. All other places, spiritual organizations are not based on the bona fide platform. We are based on the bona fide platform, in the sense this is the message which is coming down from the Lord's mouth himself. So then it is the real, but what happens is, because of our shortcomings, we are very easily able to let the people realize that, okay, these all are people are just, they are all faking. They are not really, they are not endeavoring. So while interacting with other devotees, it is very important that our behavior is in such a way that I know we all have our subhava, and which very difficult to overcome, and in services also it gets reflected that that subhava, and we require different subhava people. As I was saying, temple cannot run if everybody is sattvic. We need people who are passionate also, because operational things requires people to be little passionate. But that does not mean that we are not able to. So our behavior should be very, very careful, so that the other person. So what we have to do is that other person we have to identify. And if we do see, when we are close, we can identify what the other person is looking. But when we in general, we will not know the other person, what is he looking. I'm just doing my service. At that point of time, somebody putting the prasadam in the plate, and plates get touched, and that person is shouting, why are you touching this plate? You don't know this, you don't know that. And that person, he genuinely, he doesn't know that plate should not be touched to the spoon. So, or sometimes you're moving up and down and it will get touched. So I know it's not good, but there are many, many nicer ways to tell the other person. I'm just giving some example. It may not be the case in our temple. I see most of us try to follow, but sometimes these things create a wrong impression about our organization. Because we are representing our spiritual master, we are representing Srila Prabhupada, we are representing Gandharvika Girdhari. So it is very, very important that our interactions, our behavior should also reflect that. And I know that requires a conscious effort, it requires. And sometimes just being, unintentionally and all that, we may end up doing more harm to our organization than doing the favor. So I'll just one or two examples. I recently heard one lecture from Radheshyam Prabhu. It was very, very nice. Unfortunately, time is not there. So I'll just give some examples how from the scriptures, how the two a couple of people interacted, and how the devotees reacted in this that kind of situation, and how it is. So one example is Tiraskrit. Tiraskrit means you are being humiliated. So there is a story in the scriptures where Devayani, she was the daughter of Shukracharya. And the Shukracharya is a Brahmana, so her daughter was also, by that logic, she was Brahmana. And she has a friend of Samishta, who was a daughter of the king. So once both of them were very nice friends, they both came to take bath together. And after coming out, by mistake, Samishta, she by mistake wore the dress of Devayani. And when Devayani came out and she saw that Samrishta has wore the clothes of Devayani, she became upset. She became so much upset that she abused her, she insulted her, and she told, you Kshatriyas are like dogs, and you come to the huts of Brahmanas to take the ghee. Like that she's telling, like, you are so fallen and you are trying to, take the, you are, basically, you are dependent on us. And she, insulted like that. And as a result, Sarmishra, she was a Kshatriya's daughter. So she started fighting Guttam Gutta, and then she threw her into the well. Anyway, the story is very long. Okay, I'm not going into that story. It's a Devayani story, it's very long. So then that means they didn't tolerate, and what happened ultimately? That story has very long implications were there of this incident in Devayani and Samishta's life. On the other hand, we see that when Shivaji, Lord Shiva, he went into the Daksha's, yagna. At that point of, we know the story. Sati Devi and he was not invited. They both, but still Sati Devi went on to this thing, and okay, that was the later part. The first part is that Shiva went to the yagna, which was arranged, and all the demigods were invited. So Shiva and Brahma also were there. And when Daksha entered into the arena, everybody got up. But then only Brahma and Shiva, they didn't get up. So Brahma not getting up, Daksha didn't mind because Brahma is his father. But when Shiva didn't get up, he got offended because he was looking at Shiva as the, his son-in-law. He was saying my son-in-law and he's not giving me respect. He became angry and he just insulted Shiva like anything. But what Shiva did in that case, Shiva didn't react at all and Shiva came back. Anyway, the story continues. Sati Devi goes later and then everything, full mess up happens. That whole yagna was spoiled. But the point here is that Lord Shiva didn't react at all. So after getting humiliated also, Lord Shiva didn't react. Second incidence is, again, in the situation when we are being cursed or something like that. So here again the Devyani story is there. Devyani was the daughter of Shukracharya, and his father used to teach all the Sanjeevani mantra and all those kind of things. So there was son of, I'm not sure, it was son of some of the demigod, Kacha. Kacha, he also came there to basically get that knowledge. At that point of time, Devyani got attracted to Kacha, and she proposed Kacha that I want to marry you or what. But then Kacha told that you are daughter of my spiritual master, and if I marry you, then what will happen is that whole world will think that I had some wrong intentions in coming here, so I cannot marry you. And Devyani could not tolerate that, and Devyani told, okay, you want this knowledge will never be fruitful to you. And in that, this thing, Kacha also became angry, and he told, okay, you will be married to a lower caste because you are a Brahmana and you are proud of that, you will be getting married to somebody who is this thing. So they curse each other, and again there was repercussions of that in both of their life. But on the other hand, we see Parikshit Maharaj's case. Parikshit Maharaj, what happened? He was being cursed, by what was the name of that son of Shringi. And Parikshit Maharaj was very, very capable of cursing it back. And when Shringi's father, what was his name? Shaunak Rishi. Shamik Rishi. So Shamik Rishi, when he came to know that his son has cursed, because for those who don't know, that Parikshit Maharaj, he was thirsty and he goes into the ashrama of Shamik Rishi, and then out because of anger, because the Shamik Rishi was in meditation, Parikshit Maharaj took a dead snake and put it in the neck of Shamik Rishi. And his son, who was playing, he was a very young 7-8-year-old boy. When he came to know at some other place, immediately he reacted and he cursed this thing. But as soon as Shamik Rishi came to know that, okay, my son has cursed, he became very upset, and he immediately sent a message to Parikshit Maharaj that you have been cursed. But Parikshit Maharaj, although he was very, very much capable of cursing back, he didn't react at all. He said, okay, this is what Lord's wish is, and maybe it was my mistake that I was not able to control my senses and whatever you say, and I reacted in a very wrong way. So maybe it is Krishna's way to teach me. I will just accept it like that. So what happens in first case, Devyani and Kacha, they cursed each other, but in the case of Parikshit Maharaj, he didn't curse back. He didn't take any action on this thing. And then there are many, this thing Prabhu told in his lecture, but I will cover just one more, neglect. So if somebody is getting neglected, then what happens? We feel very humiliated and we react, right? So so we know the famous story of Drupad Maharaj and Dronacharya. What happened in their case? That they both were the disciples they both were studying together, and what happened? They became very friend, and out of that they friendly way, Drupad Maharaj told that, okay, whenever you need, you come to me, I will give you kingdom or something like that, I will help you, whatever. So when Dronacharya was really, having difficulty in taking care of his family, he thought, let me go to my friend Drupad. So when he went to the, arena of Drupad Maharaj, so he came there. At that point of time, he addressed King Drupad as his friend. And when King Drupad saw that he is being addressed by a poor Brahmana whose clothes are torn, and he is coming and he is referring him as a friend, he immediately got offended. And he said, okay, you are a poor Brahmana, just remain in whatever you are. Don't try to call my friend. You want some begging, I will give you something. You go from here. Something like that. He used very, insulted words. So what happens is that being neglected by his friend like that, Dronacharya came back, but that anger, that revenge, the feeling of revenge always remained in his mind. And later what he did, we all know that he trained Pandavas and Kauravas, and they all attacked Drupad Maharaj. Drupad Maharaj was tied and he was brought back to the Dronacharya. And that point of time, Dronacharya told, okay, you wanted to give me begging, I'll give you begging, half kingdom of you. You take half of the kingdom, my son will rule. So like that. So ultimately what happened, the further result of that, Drupad Maharaj did Homa and he got that Drishtadumna and Draupadi, and then, so many things happened in that thing, just because of that particular act of neglect. But how a Vaishnava react in this kind of situation, we have the example of Shukdev Goswami. It comes in the other scripture, not in Srimad Bhagavatam, that once Shukdev Goswami was sent to Janak Maharaj by Ved Vyas to have learned some, Vedic knowledge. So when Janak Maharaj came to know that Shukdev Goswami has come, so what he did is, as soon as he came to the door, he told his gatekeepers that you tell Shukdev Goswami to wait there. So Shukdev Goswami was waiting there, and purposely Janak Maharaj didn't come out. So he was waiting there, he just sat there, he was not offered water, he was not offered food. So but he continued to stay there for like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Like that he was sitting there. So what he thought, okay, anyway Janak Maharaj is not meeting me, I'll meditate on Lord. He started meditating on Lord, and he did all that. After 3 days, Janak Maharaj came out. This time he came with the band baja and all that, and he's dum dum dum, and he garlanded Shukdev Goswami, he took them, he made him sit on his throne, and gave him nice food, this thing. But Shukdev Goswami was unaffected. He was not affected by the neglect, and then he was not affected by the that praise and whatever the thing was given to him. So we see the contrast in those two situations, how a Vaishnava reacts, and how Shukdev Goswami, he was not affected by the neglect or the praise. But on the other hand, we see the Drona and Drupada, that became their, when they were neglected, it became the cause of so much of, whole Mahabharata in one sense. So there are many examples like that. Unfortunately, time is not there. But the point which we are trying to make here is that in being a part of a spiritual organization like Iskcon, we also may have to face these kind of challenges when we are being either humiliated or neglected or cursed or any of those kind of situations. But at that point of time, although these are very idealistic situations, maybe we may not be able to. We are not Shukdev Goswami yet. We are not, Lord Shiva yet. We are still in the this thing. We are still affected by modes of material nature, although we are doing bhakti. But still, we should try to, tolerate. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena Kirtanaya Sadahari. So when we are doing Kirtanaya Sadahari, when we are chanting the name of the Lord, whenever we are thinking about the Lord, when we are offering all of our endeavors to the Supreme Lord and our spiritual master, then we will be able to overcome. It is something like when you are when we are doing something for the higher cause. For example, when suppose a boy is going for the engineering entrance exam, that day there is a heavy rain. He is going on the way. There is traffic jams. Do you think all these things will bewilder him? His point is, somehow I have to reach my exam center. I should, if traffic jam is there, let me take some shortcut. My bike, I will go there. Rain means I'll take raincoat and I will do this, I will do that. And somehow you will reach to exam center. So same with all of us, that we all should know that we have a higher this thing. We have to go back to Golok Vrindavan in this life itself. If we keep that higher goal, I have to please Krishna, I have to please my spiritual master. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. We sing every day. But we should think, if I am pleasing my Guru, automatically all the mercy I will get from the Supreme Lord also. So when we think that I am pleasing the spiritual master, when I am thinking I am pleasing Krishna, when I am pleasing my spiritual master, my seniors, when I am pleasing my spiritual guide, if we will think like that, for that we will be able to tolerate anything which is happening in our spiritual life also. So although King Priyavrat is trying artificial means to avoid the quarrel, in the spiritual realm, we all are working together. There is one way, is to please Krishna and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. And we will be able to overcome all difficulties which we face in our spiritual life also. With that, I will end. Shri Shri Gandharvika Girdhari Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All Premanande. Anybody would like to add anything, any comments, or I don't know, I'm qualified to answer anything, but at least anybody would like to add any comments, or anybody has any question, I can try to make attempt to answer. Okay, Mataji raised the hand first. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so Mataji's question is that, in theory it all looks good. In classes also it looks very good, but then when really the situation comes, how to tolerate this? So the answer to that is with the practice and under the association and guidance of senior devotees, we will be able to do. I know it's not easy, but it's not impossible also. Because I give the example, like, engineering entrance student is going on the road. If there is any difficulty, you will not bother. So here, when any such situation comes, then that point of time we should think is it going to hamper my journey towards Supreme Lord Shri Krishna? I know momentarily it may look difficult, but whenever we see, actually, I have once attended the business communication training in our office. That point of time, they told us one nice thing. They told, whenever you get any agitating email from your boss or anywhere, then what you should do is, you should not immediately react. You go and take one glass of water, you come back, and then you reply the mail. Because if you reply, oh, that person has said like this, let me reply, cut, your job will go. So the thing is, here also what we have to do is, at that point of time, yes, it is difficult, we are angry, it's agitating. I'm just, sorry Mataji, I don't think I am qualified to answer this, but I can just suggest what I've heard. So at that point of time, what we can try to do is, we can go to some little bit out place, little bit outside, take some water, think about it, and meditate upon it that, okay, is this situation is going to help me to go close to Krishna, or just by reacting, am I going to harm my journey towards Krishna? So if we think about that, then many times what will happen is, okay, I can tolerate. And in some situation, it is still not tolerating. What we should do is, we should go to some seniors, we should discuss with them and try to resolve the situation in amicable. Because if we don't tell anybody and don't this thing, then whose loss is this? It's my loss. I may leave organization very easily. What, Iskcon is also like that, everybody is like that. Okay, no problem. It is also waste place. I'll not. But whose loss is this? Because this is the only organization which is going to give us the, that higher goal which is available to us, and that path which we can achieve. So just by a little bit of tolerating and by taking the guidance from seniors, you should be able to overcome.
One more last question.
Okay, one last question.
My question is related to what you said, that for our self-gratification, sometimes we say that we'll buy a big land, or so that we can arrange
Yeah.
kind of
That was just an example. If you are doing that, please don't mind.
similar kind of thought is there in my mind. So is it like, what should I know that you have to struggle really hard.
No, you should see, wherever we are, any decisions which we are taking in our life, I have heard from my seniors, I'm telling you the same thing, that any decisions which we are taking in our life should be dependent on only one condition or one thing. Is it going to help me in my progress to Krishna consciousness? If it is going to help me in my progress in Krishna consciousness, then we can do. If there is even a slight doubt that it's not going to help me in my Krishna consciousness, in my progress in Krishna consciousness, then better to go to some senior devotees and discuss with them, or your spiritual master, whoever you have access to, discuss with them and then take the decision. See, sometimes, because we all are still under the modes of passion, ignorance, so there are many factors which sometimes we feel that, okay, I'm doing a service, I'm doing it, this thing, but it may be just it may or may not be. I'm not saying it always like that, but it may be sometimes just some sense gratification. I'm sugarcoating it with the service. So better take guidance from the senior devotees and our spiritual master. These important decisions like this should be taken by the guidance under the instruction of spiritual master. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.